Hello everyone, welcome to Garage Beer Brewing. I'm Woody, let's go pour beer. Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm pouring my latest batch of my Amber Hefeweizen I make. I use traditional German yeast for that banana and clove flavor. I make it in amber, it's not something I see very often. I like to use Maris Otter, so I'm using basically an English malt. And today I'm going to make my first pour on this latest batch, and let's see how it goes. All right. Get through that foam a little bit. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. This is, I'm very happy with that. I messed with my fermentation temperatures a little bit. I tried to ferment at a little bit of a higher temperature to try to get experimenting with that banana bomb. It's with these Hefeweizens. You can get a really strong banana flavor, smell, aroma, as well as clove. Depending on the temperature of the fermentation process can seemingly affect that. I'm still experimenting with it. My temperatures in my basement are maintained pretty low, so I didn't really end up fermenting as high as temperature as I would have liked for this experiment. But once I get a new fermenter, which I eventually will, one that I can control temperature. So anyway, I'm very happy with it. It's great. It's very subtle. There's not a big banana or clove flavor to it. It really turns out really well. It's got a nice mouthfeel to it. And I love it. This is my favorite beer. It's very popular with all of my friends and everyone I've known, for the past decades. I've been brewing it. I've made it for weddings, friends' weddings and such. A friend named it Woody's famous Amber Hef. That's pretty cool. But I love this beer. It's 5.51% alcohol with a parent attenuation of about 69%. My initial gravity was 1.06 and with a final gravity of 1.018. So right about there, 5.5% is perfect. I love that. That's a great amount. I don't want it too strong. I don't want it too weak. I'm very satisfied with this, and let's see how I did it. Really like Hefeweizen. It's the time of year. Basically, it's brewed with. It's not exclusively wheat. It's usually a mix of barley and wheat. I do basically half and half. So I'm gonna mill my grain, and I've got all my grain out. Of course, as you know, I do 11-gallon batches, and for this, I have about 22 pounds of grain, half wheat, half barley. I use Maris Otter for my instead of 2-row. I like it better. And then I use a mix of mostly white wheat, but red wheat as well. And the red wheat helps a little bit of color. And I also add some specialty grains to Maris Otter, like some crystal malt, as well as Munich and some other different German grains. So I'm gonna mill it. I use 0.04 or 4/100ths of an inch for that. I don't want to mill it too fine because the wheat doesn't have the husk like the barley does on it. So, which I will also add rice hulls, so to help, so it doesn't get compacted when I'm, and then you can get stuck sparges and it just doesn't want to drain through. So I'm gonna do this now, and here we go. This is primarily my wheat and kind of specialty barley grains. Always mill everything twice through. Of course, you can get larger hoppers for this. I use my drill because I don't want to do it by hand. I use paper bags and a bucket. Works great. It's going to be loud. just like to make sure all the grain's cracked. You don't want to grind it into like a fine powder. It defeats you can't, it makes it very difficult to work with. So you just want it cracked, and that's it. I still do want that fine ground powder that you get a little bit in there. It's all good for the mash. Just don't want too much of it. All right, that's good to go. And my main barley, I get it in 5-pound bags because for shipping you can buy it in larger bulk. But I found with shipping cost, for some reason, if you buy like a 50-pound bag of grain, you pay shipping costs on that. But if you buy, however many numbers of 5 or 10-pound bags you want, you don't pay shipping. I mean, I clean my buckets. I guess you could do this right into the bucket, but I don't know. I've always used bags still. All right. Here's the marizada. Like I said, a lot of people use 2-row, which is fine. I've basically got my mash tun ready. I've already brought it up to temperature. I've boiled my water. Great water here in the Pacific Northwest, some of the best in the world. But I still boil it. I mean, they do, get whatever chlorine out of it I can, but otherwise it's great water. So I boil it, and right now it's cooling. So while it's cooling, I mill my grain so that I can get ready to move on to the mash step once that water comes down to temperature, basically strike temperature that I want. Yep. Try to do different steps in between other steps. Well, there we have it. I've got my wheat and my specialty barley grains and my base barley, and I've got my rice hulls, which, let's see what that is. It's basically just a hull of rice, and it just helps with the mash so it doesn't get all stuck and just, because I want as much water to get all around all the particles of grain and everything, and then you want it to be able to rinse out, to drain out ultimately when the mash is done. So next is moving on to the mash. All right. Okay, we're ready to pitch our grain. So I've got it to, the water's down to about 163 degrees. I figured out it's really just by testing how much water you have, how much grain you have, over time to see what temperature it's going to drop to when you put grain in the water. So I found that for me, I'm shooting for 11-gallon batches. I'm using about 22 pounds of grain. That's about 8 degrees difference that I want higher. So I got it about 163 because I want 155. I do a little bit of a higher mash temperature on my Amber Hefeweizen because I like it to have more body. I like it a little sweeter. Just this particular recipe, it works better. I don't want high alcohol content either. So, that's, and I'm always tweaking and toying with this a little bit. It's part of the fun. But anyway, let's go. First, I'm gonna add my rice hulls, which I do because since there's wheat, half of this is wheat. It doesn't have the husk or the hull in the wheat, and I don't want stuck sparges. So the rice hulls help facilitate the mash. Now you're not getting anything out of it. It's just material to prevent basically the wheat all sticking together. Because the barley still has its husk or hull when you mill it. All right, there's the wheat. I really push the limits of how much water I can get in this with the grain because you really want as much water as possible the mash. So I really push it. This will hold about 15 gallons. So hopefully all the barley fits without overflowing. That's usually the test. That is really close. Almost overflowing. I don't want any dry areas. I want water to reach every surface of the milled grain. All of it. So that's the mashing process, which at these temperatures, the enzymes start converting the starches into sugars. And it's that sugar that you want fermentable. And the temperature determines how fermentable that sugar is. That is converted by the enzymes in the grain. 155 exactly. I like it. Perfect. Very happy about that. My little insulator that I made myself. We let it sit. I will come back periodically and stir it. I'll monitor the temperature, and if I need to slowly bring it up temperature a little bit more, I will. I really want to stick within a range of 152 to 155 degrees for this particular recipe. 153 I'm fine with. Really just a consistent 154 is great. I just get up to 155 because I know it's going to it easily will drop a degree, no problem, pretty quickly. But all right. Okay, it's been 20 minutes, so I'm going to give it a quick stir. I have done it after 10 minutes previously, just didn't film it. But I'm going to stir it, see where it's at temperature-wise. Now, it smells so good. It smells so good. I wish you could smell that. All right. All right, so we're about 151, so I'm going to add a little bit more heat. And I do that very slowly because I don't want great temperature fluctuations through it on the bottom. So I do that very slowly. And I will continuously stir it while the heat's on it to have the slowest, most uniform heat rise as possible. I want to get it up to 155 again, but I think I'm going to actually get up to 156 because the temperature dropped in that 20 minutes a little bit faster than I would have liked. Not a big deal though. Like I said, I don't want the lower temperatures because for this recipe, I want more body and I want it to be sweeter. So basically want less fermentable sugar. The lower the temperature, the more fermentable the sugar is. And I do that for different varieties. I'm doing like a golden ale or something else where I want a crisper, drier, higher alcohol content. Well, not as much body, not sweet. But this Amber Hefeweizen, it's a wheat beer. And I end there's almost like if I get it right, it's almost a honey flavor to it. It's really delicious. And I'm sorry, I correct myself. It was 30 minutes. I do 3 30-minute cycles, so an hour and a half of mashing. All right, that's 155. So I'm just going to go with 155 again. I'm going to stick to plain. So 155. Another 30 minutes. All right. There we have it, another 30 minutes. Okay, another 30 minutes has gone by, so I'm going to check the temperature again and heat it back up, most likely, to do my last 30 minutes. Stir it again to see what my more consistent temperature is. The temperature will fluctuate through the depth of the container. Heat rises. All right. So I'm happy with that. After I reheated it the last time, it's 153. So it went from 155 down to 153 over that 30 minutes. That's perfect. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to reheat it up just a little bit, get it back up to 155 again, and then go another 30 minutes. I like to do an hour and a half. Let's make sure I get a full conversion. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we're almost there. Okay, it's been another 30 minutes. That's the last 30 minutes for the full hour and a half. So I'm going to check the temperature, see what it finished out at as I stir it up, and then I'm going to do my mash out. So I'll increase the temperature over 160 degrees. So between 160 and 170 degrees, that's going to stop the entire conversion process. So above 160 degrees, the enzymes don't really work. They don't convert the starches into sugar. So to finish out the whole mashing process, so then I can move on to cooking, onto boiling. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll get to the cooking.